Well, hell no, I am not going to disrespect my black queens. So the thing about it is that the reason why I said that is because one of the gymnasts, Simone Biles, dropped out the Olympics because of mental illness. Not mental illness, to take a mental break. But before I go get into that, and before I get into my guest, I have somebody very important right over here, Miss Marissa Clark, the super queen organizer in the building. How you doing?
I'm all right.
All right. Just go ahead and speak to the mic. Let everybody know that you're here on www.wnrv108.1.com.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for being here. And, of course, our guest is right in front of us right now. So, first things first, early voting has started for the special congressional race for August 3rd, the final election, August 3rd. That is the the primary election for the Democratic and Republican nominee for Ohio Congressional District 11. And also, if you are in Hamilton County and other places in Columbus, that is for Congressional District 15. So, speaking of District 11, that deals with Cleveland, Akron, Cuyahoga County, and other counties. This thing is heating up as far as accusations of dark money and other things of that nature. Accusations being thrown around by Senator Nina Turner against Cuyahoga County Rep. And Cuyahoga County Councilperson Chantel M. Brown, the two top frontrunners. Everybody else is trying to, whatever voters do not want to vote for neither one of them. John Barnes is sneaking in, Jeff Johnson, Tariq Shabazz. We got 11 other people running for this race, so you got to calm down with that. We everybody get together. You know, pretty much what I want to say is shut up and vote. That's pretty much it. Shut up and vote, because we got some key races that are coming down the wire, down the stretch. And one of them is the City of Cleveland Mayor O's race, Zach Reed, Bashir Jones, Sandra Williams, and Justin Bibb, to say the least. And also, we got some other stuff that's going on in the wards. So the reason why my guest is here is because he's running for Ward 5. The Human T-Rex is in the building on the ones and twos. His show will be up at 9. There's a new show at 8. We got issues that's coming up at 8 p.m. after me. So the Human T-Rex, please spin the entrance music for my guest right now so we can introduce him. The reason why I'm playing this music by none other than another hip-hop artist is because that this is a real serious race. He is back to claim his spot for Ward 5. Please welcome the Ward 5 candidate for the city of Cleveland. Please welcome my man, Richard A. Starr in the building. What's up, Rich? How you doing, man?
What's going on? How everybody doing? I'm doing pretty well.
All right.
Myself, hope all is well.
It is. So you were raised in the central community here in Cleveland, Ohio. You were part of the Boys and Girls Club. Are you still with the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes, I'm still with the Boys and Girls Club, but in a corporate position as Director of Sports and Recreation for Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Ohio, consisting of regions Akron, Lorain, Cleveland, as well as Sandusky.
Okay. That's what's up. So you pretty much know that this is very important. This is a very important race at this particular time. So the last time we interviewed you, you was up and coming. Pretty much you was right there on the cusp of actually taking Ward 5. 40% of the vote you had. 35 to 40% of the vote from now former Councilwoman Phyllis Cleveland, who stepped down because of health issues. With her stepping down, how confident do you feel that you can take the seat and be the next councilman for Ward 5?
At this point in my life and career, it's not about who has a seat or not. It's about the leadership that we are lacking in Ward 5. And that leadership has caused a crisis in Ward 5. So rather someone step down or still there, we were preparing and working as my team, and I'd say we was working to be prepared to run this year. And we're going to continue to run our race without any distractions no matter what. We're going to just keep doing what we need to do, because it's not about the seat or who's in the seat. It's about who's going to do the job and bring them leadership qualities that we need in our community.
Okay. So how do you feel about you said the crisis in Ward 5? You want to elaborate on that?
Elaborate on that. Well, I could just go through the facts. Born and raised in Central community myself, I understand many challenges that we as people in Central face. So therefore, I am dedicated to coming up with real life solutions to the problems that put the interests of the residents first, but also understand that I'm not trying to be what you call necessarily a politician. I am a public servant. I have always been that way. And throughout this race, you can tell by the work that I've done that that's all about public service. So I'm committed to finding real solutions to help the people, but most important, I need to stand and understand people to understand that my platform stands for jobs, economic development, safety, and most important, education for us to move our ward. Right now, we can go through a lot of facts. The median income in Ward 5 is $12,500. So you could tell that there's not much moving, and the reason why we're in that state is mainly because the lack of leadership that the residents truly deserve. And you can tell by just how things unfolded with the exit of different individuals and things like that.
So, pretty much, I'm looking at your bio right here. I'm paying attention to it. So, you are on the boards such as the Faith Community United Credit Union, Northeast Ohio Young Black Democrats, Book Bank Young Professionals, and the Telos Institute board. So, you want to tell us how you got been on those particular boards and how long you've been on them?
I've been on most of those boards for the last 5-6 years. Telos, rather, the latest board I joined, which was about 2 or 3 years ago, about 2 years ago, which was leadership board for mentoring young professionals who's working in college or young college students to ensure that they have a mentor for them as they approach that real life work experience. The book bank, self-explanatory, we provide different books and making sure kids understand the importance of reading because we're in this technology era and nobody wants to read as much basically because everything is videoed. And then also the Faith Credit Union. It's important for you to be on a black-owned Faith Credit Union. I've been on that board for about 3 years now. 3 years now, and I've been able to help educate the people. Rather, we've been doing hosting drives to make sure the members of our credit union are up to speed on things. We've been able to change different policies to fit the needs that the bankers as well as members of the bank are participating or using, such as upgrading our internet as well as our website, as well as creating creative ways to make sure that we're providing the service to those loans and those grants and opportunities that we need in our banking, things like that, as well as just overall just trying to be a public servant.
Right. So let's get back to the faith-based credit union. There's been a lot of people. We went through a global pandemic, not just Ohio, but everybody suffered through it. Mask wearing, all that, social distancing. A lot of businesses, especially small minority-based businesses, shut down because they didn't have the foot traffic for the pandemic. How are you able, on being on the board, and could transition over to you being councilman at Ward 5? How can you help people financially, or is there a financial plan for Ward 5 to bring businesses back in the community? What is your plan?
So the plan my plan is we have to really capitalize on this opportunity corridor. That's running right through Ward 5. It starts in Ward 5 and it goes through Ward 5 and it connects over to Ward 7 Ward 7 over in that Euclid area. And what we have to do is as leadership, we have to come up with ways to capitalize. Like you look at the city, they already on opportunity corridor. Came up with the ideal plan to put $107 million police headquarters in Ward 5. Right there off of 75th.
$7 million in police headquarters?
$107 million.
$107 million?
Yes. So,
wow.
So their plan is that they said this was supposed to be a way to possibly bring more people to want to feel safe in that neighborhood so that we can add businesses up around Opportunity Corridor. For the people that's listening at home, Opportunity Corridor is similar to how you see that transition from how Euclid Ave had it created. Remember when it was just straight the 6 bus route, going straight up Euclid, and now you got the health line. So we have something similar to that. And then also along the line of the Opportunity Corridor, you have different sections of the Opportunity Corridor where you can have businesses operate so that we can start bringing those jobs to the ward that are good paying jobs for residents of the ward. So it's like, how do we capitalize on that the way we do that is by curbing the different problems that's going on in our neighborhood, but also understanding that, hey, this is an opportunity for us to get more businesses in, but also making sure the skill sets are available so people in the residents of Ward 5 can have access to that. So throughout the opportunity corridor, I think we should be targeting the ways to make sure that we have some job training there so that we can have businesses or different organizations that can come in, or a business that can definitely provide services so people can get the skills. We have to focus on that trade initiative so people can really start making meaningful jobs. Like when I say by meaningful paying, good paying jobs, you got to think about it. $12,500. If I talk about everybody in this room here, amongst the 5 of us, that's not enough for us to finish the year out, let alone raise a family on. So we have to start putting things in place so that the residents can see it for themselves, but also using that education piece to educate them so they can understand ways to look for the future, meaning I may have to take these six courses. We may need to focus on working with our partnerships that we have with different stakeholders, such as a Tri-C, which is in Ward 5, that can possibly provide those skills. How do we work together? So with Ward 5, we have to stop being divided, become more together, and we can come up with ways that we can find solution to our problems, such as jobs, such as the lack of resources, such as no income. When you think about it, like, it's rough when you say $12,500.
Yeah, you can't. That's Social Security numbers for real. That's not even, that's part-time numbers. So you said, and by the way, I'm glad that you're here because you got into a car accident a couple of weeks ago, correct?
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, I did get in a car crash. I'm still going through therapy. I can't do the movements like I want to. So Larry, please do not jump over this table trying to wrestle. Not today.
I ain't doing that for. I ain't gonna do that to you.
I can't. Just I was sitting at a light off of Broadway in Finn, and a tow truck I guess the driver, he mentioned he looked in the back to see his trailer, to see his load that he on, and next thing you know, I was just in a car accident. I can't tell you in depth what happened because certain things I really, really don't remember. It was just a dead smack as far as that, but there was quite a few witnesses there who was able to help me out, but it was just a recovery. But in the midst of that recovery, we still have things we have to do because we have to continue to serve the people. So whatever capacity that I can, I'm going to always be there for our.
Well, I'm glad you're here in one piece talking to me.
Yes.
So looking at this resume, Marissa, I know you was looking at it. Is there anything that you have to say as far as looking at young Mr. Starr's resume?
Well, what I'm actually curious about, and both of those things kind of tie in. So what you were discussing, you were mentioning the importance of being a public servant, and that's also how you identify yourself versus just being a run-of-the-mill politician. And that is so important, especially for the potential development of projects such as you were mentioning.
Yes.
Making the most of things like the opportunity corridor, even down to what you were talking about with partnerships. Do they already have any community agreements in place where there is an agreement that a certain percentage of those jobs would go to residents?
So therefore,
the
current, I couldn't possibly tell the truth on that because the current administration do whatever they does, and it's not really displayed or presented to the people until they call and have a meet and ask the people what their thoughts is on something that they already agreed upon. So as far as those partnerships, I can't say that, but I can tell you that multiple organizations are doing the work in the community, but it's just on a different level in which it's like, you do what you do, stay over there. You do what you do, stay over there, and I do what I do, stay over there. And that right there is the missing piece and a component that, desegregate the whole community.
The collaboration.
So we need to stop having that, you do what you do, and need to be saying, let's get to this table and see what we are going to do. Like, as leaders, we can't keep moving that way. I think of Ward 5, I say it as a very resourceful community and a resourceful ward because you have so much going on, but it's like everyone on their own, and without that support amongst each other, we're going to just see what we're going to continue to see what happen everything is divided. You get to certain people for the numbers, but you don't get the full capacity of those that leave at times because they don't know because everything is just so separated.
It's siloed.
All right. So my question is that if you or when you are elected council, you're also facing new leadership as far as in the mayor's campaign because Frank Jackson is not seeking re-election. So how do you feel about the mayor's race at this particular point right now?
There you go. You said what I think about the mayor race right now?
Yeah.
One thing I can say about the mayor race is me, Richard Starr.
And as you can see, Marissa just bagged away from
Yeah,
that.
she backed
Lie
away.
a little bit, yeah.
She backed away because she know you trying to open up the can of worms. But you know me. That's why I got my son Adonis here. He gonna make sure I don't do nothing that I ain't supposed to do. But the thing is, what I can attest to about the mayor race is, I have a relationship with all the candidates, just about every last one of the candidates. So with that being said, is I know how to work with individuals. I don't necessarily have to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. I don't have to do that type of stuff. I'm more so concerned with the people, and whether it's a new administration or old administration, the work has to get done. And sometimes it can be where heated arguments inside that room, but what we have to do is come up with solutions to the problems that present itself, because if it keep coming up over and over, it's something that needs to be dealt with. And that's something that I bring to city council and city hall, is the fact that I understand leadership. I've been in leadership positions for the last 14 years of my life. And with that being said, is I understand that we have to change things. You can't continue to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I think Albert Einstein said that's insanity, right? You know, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Exactly.
So that means when people say I don't vote and I don't get involved in politics, guess what? The same thing gonna continue over and over. Whether it's that aunt or that family member who keep asking you for resources that they possibly could have been provided if they had some leadership within their community. So since I don't feel like I need to vote, rather I'm in a different position in life, that's the problem. And leadership is a reflection of that. I cannot be proud and be a proud elected official if for 20 years only 10% of my constituents that's registered to vote is only voting for me. And that's a lot of things, a lot of places going on. That's occurring in a lot of different neighborhoods in the city of Cleveland.
Right. Ward 5. Now, for anybody that doesn't know Ward 5, what does Ward 5 cover? What areas?
Ward 5 covers great areas such as, the Central, Cedar, Kinsman, Woodland, Southeast Broadway, St. Hyacinth, parts of touching and rubbing Fleet, but it's not fully over there. But if I want to break it down for the viewers to understand, okay, if you coming from 79th and Euclid, take that to 55th, cut across 55th, and go straight down to Prospect all the way to 9th in Prospect. Take that to the east, more so, east, and then that goes up to Southeast Broadway, comes all the way up past that Union area right there where 79th will turn into, and it takes 79th all the way across, grab some of that 82nd and Kinsman, and that runs all the way across. So that large population, and then you grab some of downtown, grab some of Payne.
Right.
You also grab places such as neighborhoods such as the Carnegie, Prospect, some of Woodland, Broadway.
You have
Tri-C
is in that Ward 5.
Correct.
So so Tri-C Metro.
Orange. Street Orange. Those all that merge all over and creates a big ward. It's a huge ward. But one thing you also got to understand within Ward 5, out of the 19 precincts, 8 of those precincts is in public housing estates. Like me, I was born in Precinct L, which is King Kennedy of Ward 5, and the way things is designed, is really real interesting. The fact that you see that it's precincts inside of what we would call another precinct.
Right, exactly.
So it's very territorial, even with precincts. If you really look at the map, precinct L could be a part of precinct M, or not M, precinct B or something. Like B and F and L should be all one precinct, but multiple ones for whatever reason being. And I don't know. That's something that I definitely want to dive into more deeper to figure out why.
Right, exactly. Now, I was shout out to the faith-based community for putting on the Ward 1 forum with all 4 candidates in tow. Now, one of the candidates and the incumbent candidate said that the neighborhood needs to be cleaned up as far as, just actual cleanup, the trash, stuff like that, and also crime in the area. How would you deal with that when you are a councilman of Ward 5, if or when?
The way you deal with crime in the city, you have to get to the root of some of the problems. We're talking about crime, but we ain't talking about the fact that we don't have no money in certain neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
The median income is not even at livable range.
Right, $12,000 is not.
$12,500 in Ward 5, and then you say crime is up and it's keeps climbing the chart every year, but we have never addressed the fact that people are living in survival mode. So how do me as a public servant or as an elected official, if I become blessed with the people and the votes from Ward 5, how can I come to someone and say, hey, you need to stop doing X, Y, and Z. I need you to stop banging. I need you to stop doing all that if I have not came over with a reason or a solution for them to replace that. Meaning, how are these guns getting into our neighborhood? How are you able to access these guns at as early as an age of 14 or younger than that, some of these cases that you read? But also I'm like, well, if you look at to a young person's life, I graduated from possibly my Cleveland Public School District with an 80% graduation rate, but I have no employee skills. I'm not ready to work or do nothing. So therefore, what? I'm 19 years old. I'm still living life, doing what I can do. I end up messing around, got a girl pregnant. Now I may have a child, and I'm still at home with my mom. But then, as you know, my mom's is still asking me for her rent money. Right. And then my baby, the child's mother, is now asking you for some money for the child. But you ain't even got a job at all. But it's like we haven't put nothing in place to help that child. So when that person or that individual male turns into what he sees is in the backyard, which is the streets, then we say, oh, well, it's a problem. No, we should identify that problem when we started passing kids around from the 3rd grade when their reading scores were below 20%. Or 16% of our kids are passing with the literacy exam. So that means they're going on to be in the going from the 3rd grade to 4th grade and they can't read or write or do math. But then as you know, we look up and say they graduated high school, and then you say, well, that kid still haven't fully developed the skills that they need to survive in this world. So therefore now they're just out there trying to do whatever they can to make ends meet. No, that is not an excuse for them to do whatever they're doing. But what it is we have to look at it and bring a solution to the problem. So that's why I said it's going to take not just one individual. It's going to take leaders, and it's going to take those who are elected officials as well as law enforcement to come together and come up with our solution. It can't be CMHA plan, police department plan. It can't be Cleveland police plan. It can't be RTA police plan. It has to be our plan of action to get these guns and start to curb the violence that's going on in our community.
And that keeps up the school to prison pipeline, meaning, that there's, so think about it is like, we're about to go to our first break. How can people donate to the Richard A. Starr campaign in Ward 5?
Oh, if you want to donate to our campaign, you can just go on the website at www.starr, STARR, Ford, FOR, Ward, WARD, 5.com. Starr for Ward 5.
Starr for Ward 5. And I got to give a couple of shout outs. Shout out to Pre Unapologetically. She said, you got my vote. So that's somebody that, she lives in Ward 5. So shout out to her saying that, she gonna vote for you. And the thing about it is, like, early voting for the mayoral's race and awards after the congressional races are over on August 3rd and early voting starts August 17, 2021. If you want to, like, as far as mayor of Cleveland, and all the wards that are up in every single ward is up for grabs. Thank you. So when we come back.
And don't forget the September 14th is the actual election day for primary. Election.
So September 14th is primary election day for the primaries for the mayor and the wards. We're going to take a breath. Speaking of breath, my man Fabulous in the building, breathe. We're going to breathe. We're going to come back with my man Richard A. Starr running for Ward 5, along with the queen of organizing, Miss Marissa Clark, And his special guest in here, that's your
Adonis.
son.
Yeah, my son Adonis.
Your son, the super Prince Adonis in the building, along with the Human T-Rex. We'll be back with the headline Eye on Nerve DJs Network, www.wnrv108.1.com. We get on your Nerve DJs Network. We'll be right back.
What you were saying has
Hold on.